guys, and welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it so very much. Today I have another 4 for 4. It's been a while. Like, I used these products probably a month ago and I'm just now getting them up. The first palette that I have today is the Laura Mercier Standing Ovation Cheek Palette. Then I have the Lovecraft Beauty Blush Palette. The Lorac, I think this was the Brunch Palette. It doesn't say on it. I'm trying to remember. I'll have it listed down below what the actual name is. And then the Revolution Highlighter Palette and Fierce Mind. We're going to start with this one. So these were all kind of long and skinny palettes, and that's why I decided to group them the way that I did. This is what this palette looks like. So there are 4 shades here. They're all supposed to be highlighters, but to me, this doesn't look like a highlighter at all. It's more of, seems very matte and not really a highlighter shade. And then you have like the pink and the gold, and then this almost is like a bronzer to me for my skin tone. So as you can see, there's a little bit of fallout on them. Hopefully you can see they didn't go on super smooth. Probably the smoothest of all of them is that light gold champagne-y color. It is a very nice color. I do like this. For my complexion, I could use this as a highlighter, and this one some days I could use as a highlighter. It's a little dark for me, as you can see. I didn't love this palette. I wasn't crazy about the formula of the products. Like I said, there is like a lot of fallout. This one just doesn't really have a shimmer to it at all. I don't know why they call it a highlighter palette when this is definitely, I would think, you know, if you look at the other ones, you can see a sheen. There's just no sheen to that one at all. So this is one that I wasn't crazy about. It is one that I will be putting in my pass along pile. See if somebody else likes it. Maybe somebody slightly deeper skin tone that would be able to use all of these shades. I didn't love it. The next palette is the Lorac palette, and I used to really love Lorac face products. I have the Pirates of the Caribbean face palette, and I have the Beauty and the Beast one, and I really like those. And this one is really pretty too. Like, I really like some of the shades in this, but I don't find myself reaching for it. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to put it in this particular 4 for 4, because it's just something that I don't always gravitate towards. So as you can see, these are much smoother. The formula is just much creamier. I really do like both their highlight and their blush formula from Lorac. This one is kind of like a color, not this one, this one over here. It's like a very glowy blush. Has quite the sheen to it. It's there on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that sheen. There you go. So it's hard for me. It's not a shade that I really like. I really like these two in the middle. This one is kind of a glowy blush too, but this one, just a really pretty, nice, neutrally type blush. And I do like this shade. It is a little too dark for me though, for like my skin tone as it is. And so this one is a pretty good palette. I like the formula. I just don't know if the colors are perfect for me. But the packaging, I mean, look at the packaging on this. How pretty is that? If you're wondering what I have on my face, like, I feel like I'm looking a little funky today. I'm testing out for my next 4 for 4 the blush and the highlighter and the eyeshadow. They're all 4 for 4s. You'll see them coming up. Eyeshadows will be next, and then another face. I'm not sure what I think about it all. I'm just not sure. Next up is from Lovecraft Beauty. This is a palette that I got in my Ipsy bag, and there are 3 shades in here. These are labeled. I'm trying to remember. I don't think. Oh, this one did have shades. I should have told you that the shades are. The shade names in this one, the Revolution doesn't have shade names, or I would tell you. We have Sunlight Wavelength is the second one. Then we have Ray is that pretty blush, and then Golden Hour is that very glowy golden shade. Next up we have Lovecraft Beauty, and this is their blush palette. They also have like a bronzer palette as well. These came in my Ipsy. I think that's where most people have gotten them. I'm sure you can purchase them online somewhere, but I've never looked into purchasing from them. So you do get 3 shades in here. They are labeled. We have Althea, Dauphine, and Oscalia. Maybe that could be not the correct way to pronounce it. Lovecraft Beauty, I believe, is named after the author H.P. Lovecraft, who was like the father of horror, if I remember right. Not the father of horror, but he did like science fiction or something way back in the day. I haven't read him. He's not my style, so I haven't read. Anyway, there are 3 blushes in here. They are all matte blushes, and there's kind of a range of shades. As you can see, there's like a more pinky, there's more of like a brownie shade, and then more of a peachy shade as well. So these are all very light shades. I have them swatched here. On this side of my hand, I have them just with the first swatch just going in right across like I would normally swatch. And then on this side, I built it up a little bit and I went over it 3 times so that you could really get a better sense of the color, because it is so light. So you can do a really nice light wash of color with these. You can also really build them up too, which I think is nice. So that's what they look like. It's a pretty palette, and I like the formula. Like, it's very, very soft and powdery. Kind of reminds me almost like the Anastasia shadows. Like, they're just that really nice, soft kind of texture. The final palette today is the Laura Mercier Standing Ovation Cheek Palette, and I got this one because of the name Standing Ovation. It looks like kind of like ballet ribbons. This actually looks more like the elastic that we have on our pointe shoes, or there's even some elasticized ribbon. That's more what it looks like than actual ribbon. But I loved the name of it. That was part of it. This was part of their holiday set in 2020. And then if you look at it, they do have like the little embossing on them. You have 3 shades. I think it's peach, rosé, and grapefruit. Very nice, bright colors. So I did the same thing with this palette as I did with the last one. So on this side, you kind of have just a 1 swatch. You can barely see that one right there. But then as we get over here, I've swatched them a couple times, kind of built them up. This one, the bottom one, which is grapefruit, you don't need to build up at all, because it packs a punch. So it's one that you want to be really careful with when you're using it, but it is a beautiful color. I think rosé is probably my favorite of them all, just because it's more of a matte, and it was the easiest of the 3 to work with. And then you have peach, which is also a sheeny blush, which I really like. Like, this type of a blush is some of my favorite blushes, are those peachy, sheeny type blushes, like Papa Don't Peach by Too Faced. That's probably my favorite blush of all time. For ranking, you probably have already realized what I'm putting in 4th place, because it's pretty obvious what I'm putting in 4th place. And that's the one that I already said that I'm going to declutter, because it just doesn't work for me. I didn't like the formula on it either. It is the Revolution Fierce Mind highlighter palette. This was a free gift from Ulta, so I don't feel too terrible about it. At least I didn't have any like real investment in it. I think it would work for some people, but it's not the type of formula that I like, and it's not a good color scheme for me, because really, like, this is the only one I'm going to use on a regular basis. So I'd rather somebody else who will get more use out of it get it when it's still pretty good. The Lorac palette, I do like this one. I'm putting it in 3rd just because I feel like the other 2 palettes are just a little bit better, and that's partly because of the shades that they have, and just partly because of the mix in there. So this one, having that highlight in there and the blushes, just doesn't work too well for me. I like the blushes. Like, that's what I most like about this. I don't really like this one over here. It didn't look very good on my skin. It's too dark for a highlight, but it's just not the right shade for a blush. And this is just a little dark for a highlight too. So for me, this doesn't work. I like the formula, but I don't love the formula. So this one I think I'm going to pass along too, which is crazy. But I have so many things and I don't reach for it. And I have a single blush from Lorac that I really like in a color much better. So this one, even though it's beautiful, it just doesn't call to me that much. This is one that I went in thinking I was going to declutter, and that's the Lovecraft Beauty Blush. But I think they're really nice. I like those washes of color because it's so easy to put on too much blush and just to have like crazy cheeks and look kind of clownish or just look ridiculous. That's how I feel like I look. So I really do like the shades in here. I like how they blended and how they're buildable. So it's easier to build something up than to have too much and then try to blend it out, because blushes don't always do that. I really like the formula of this too. It's really nice and soft. So that is going to be in second place. It could have made it to number one, but part of it is because I just love this packaging. So I'm putting number one as the Laura Mercier for a couple reasons. These two shades are the two reasons. I really like these two. This one is difficult and it's a little scary to use. So for me, this is like not my favorite shade, but I really do like these two. I felt really pretty when I put them on. I really just liked the colors on my skin, and I liked the formula. It's not as sheer as the Lovecraft, so you really do have to build it up, but I do think this is a solid palette too. So 2 that I'm keeping, 2 that I'm decluttering. I'm pretty proud of myself. Like, that's pretty good. Let me know if you've tried any of these palettes, if you've tried any of these formulas, what your thoughts and opinions are. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I can't wait to talk to you next time. Bye.